Hello and welcome. This video is for anyone that has a lot of negative self-talk and beat themselves up and thinks that they're not doing enough or feels overwhelmed, or maybe you just feel like the progress you're trying to make towards something is a lot slower than you think it should be. My name is Connor McCall, and my goal is to hopefully make your days just a little bit easier, maybe even a lot easier. Who knows? So I have been there. I know exactly what it's like to have all that negative self-talk. It slows you down. It makes you feel awful. It doesn't make you look forward to doing anything. You just beat yourself up all day and you hate it. One of the most important things that I've learned over the last couple of years is how quickly effort compounds. And it doesn't even have to be a lot of effort. It can just be minimal effort that you're doing repeatedly. And you end up getting results that you don't expect over a long period of time. And you're typically pretty happy with them, or I am. I recently came across the Iron Nun, or also known as Sister Madonna. So she, I guess, is Catholic. I guess that's what sisters are. But she was working or serving, and she was told by a fellow nun that she was starting to look a little big. And there was actually rumors going around that she was pregnant. And so obviously that really bothered her. And she finally had a nun that cared enough about her to come say one day, God teaches us that our body is a temple, and it kind of seems like you might not be taking that seriously. And it woke her up. She was ready to make changes. So she made a commitment to just walk 4 blocks the next day. I think she ended up making all 4, but it was tough. It was a struggle. But she promised herself after that she was just going to walk a little bit further every day for the rest of time, just for the rest of her life. Eventually what ends up happening is she competes in over 400 triathlons, and I believe 45 of them were Ironman triathlons. Now, if anyone out there is not familiar with what an Ironman triathlon is, you are doing, I believe, a 2.6 mile swim, you do a 108-mile bike ride, and then you follow that with a full marathon of 26.2 miles, I believe. So they're intense, they're insane. I thought I was going to do one day, and then I got scared after I ran 10 miles and my knees hated it, so I decided not to do that. One of the main areas where compound effort has benefited me the most is with my eating. I used to eat a lot of things that used to make me feel really crappy, just the typical things that we all know about. I binge on candy or cakes or sugars or just unhealthy foods. And it really bothered me. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way that I felt. I've tried a lot of different things over the years. A lot of it were just 3-month programs that I thought, hey, if I could stick to this for 3 months, then I'm going to be ripped. I'm going to be happy. My life is going to be set. Never works. Doesn't work like that at all. So I just kept trying. I kept trying new things. I kept trying different ways of dieting. I kept trying anything that I thought might work. I didn't really have any direction with that. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew that I wanted to be better. And eventually I ended up coming across intermittent fasting, which is what I personally like to do. It's not something that works for everybody, but it works for me. And I just eat probably 2 or 3 hours a day. And that's it. I just kind of stuff myself on the healthy stuff. I don't really crave the unhealthy stuff anymore, but I eat as much of that as I want, and I'm good for the next 21 hours. My point of that is it took me 15 years to get to that point. I mean, when I was 15, 16 years old, I'm not confident at all, and I just like, oh, I want to be ripped so that I can get the ladies or whatever. 15 years later is how long it took me to finally get to somewhat of a point where I wanted to be, because I just didn't understand the food. I didn't understand how to make things happen. It just took effort and time and patience and determination to get there. Now, one of my favorite things about Sister Madonna is actually one of her quotes, and it's a longer quote, but my favorite part of it is, effort is success within itself. That spoke volumes to me, because it just sums it up into the self-talk, and the negative self-talk specifically that we have is lots of times we feel like we're not seeing results, but it's because we don't understand the results that are currently happening. It's like growing. You don't see your kid, or you don't see your cousin or yourself grow. It just happens, and eventually, you're taller. That's the way that it works, and that kind of applies to everything in life. So if you just keep chipping away, and just trust in it, eventually something good is going to happen to you. And personally, what I like to do is I prioritize the things that I find most important to me, and I've committed myself to make sure that I do just a little bit every single day for the rest of my life. Because the way that I feel is that if you can't commit to doing something for the rest of your life, you shouldn't be doing it. because it's probably too low on your priority list to even be worth doing anyway, and it's probably not something that's worth achieving. Even if all you do is spend a minute or 30 seconds, you want to get in a little bit better shape, just do 10 push-ups, do 30 seconds of push-ups, do 10 seconds of squats. Just start with that and try it for a month. And then maybe after a month, you're going to feel like doing 2 minutes of squats. And then after 2 months, you're going to feel like, well, I'm already sweaty and working out. I'll just go ahead and do a 30-minute workout. You just don't know how things are going to build up and compound and change your life. Something that I think is really important to consider is to really, really take the time to ask yourself if the negative self-talk is beneficial to you. Personally, I don't think it's beneficial. I think some people would argue that, yeah, that motivates me to try and push myself. All that does is slow me down, I think, and maybe that's the case for you too. So I would just take that into consideration and see if there's things that you can remove in your life to just make life more enjoyable. If there's one thing I hope that you take away from this video, I really, really hope that you just promise yourself you're just gonna try just a little bit tomorrow, and maybe the next day after that, and the day after that, or like 2 weeks. You can. The last thing that I want to leave you with is a quote from Gandhi. And he says, "Satisfaction lies in the effort, not the attainment. Full effort is victory." Thanks for watching.